You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
All right, now on to the Washington Commanders. All right. Bring in Laramie Tunsil. Bring in Fat Deebo. Bring in Kinlaw, Dietrich Wise, and Jonathan Jones. It's kind of what he was just talking about right here. A lot of old people here. You have Laramie Tunsil anchoring your left tackle, who still played at a pretty high level, probably not where he was 3 or 4 years ago, but still decent left tackle.
Was he ever a great left tackle?
No, better than league average. I think he's hovered around that like 4th to 8th best.
Yeah, I feel like he's always been like above average, but he's never fully realized his potential.
Yeah, never been really hit that elite status, I don't think. Tyler Biotish at center coming back for him. Then Andrew Wiley, right tackle. And then you have the shining young stud, Jayden Daniels, who I think I called this last year. I mean, I said he's going to have a great rookie year, and I think we're going to see regression out of him year 2. He didn't agree with me there. I think we do see some regression from Jayden Daniels. What are your thoughts here, just looking at this team as a whole?
So, I mean, a lot of it comes down to Jayden Daniels. Like, I mean, last year on this podcast, I said I thought this team was going to have the number 1 pick. Clearly, I was wrong. But before that, in my draft analysis, before I knew where Jayden Daniels would land, there's a video out there of me saying, I think Jayden Daniels has a good chance to win Rookie of the Year just because I think he's the guy who's going to walk in the league and have the most dangerous set of tools and experience to match with it of just being able to do some really impressive stuff off the bat. I didn't like the landing spot for him, so I thought their offensive line was going to be just miserable, and I didn't think they had any talent on defense. Clearly, I was wrong. But with Jayden Daniels, man, my head says there's regression. My head says that their offense was just a touch gimmicky, and there's going to be some adjustments league-wide to it. But then, man, my gut's telling me, like, this dude might be just so talented that doesn't matter.
It might be. They got away with a lot last year. They won some games they probably shouldn't have won. The schedule kind of fell their way a couple of times throughout the season where they were catching some teams.
Oh, you mean like a Hail Mary in the final 2 seconds, or a missed field goal by the Bengals in the final like 10 seconds or whatever it was, or they had like 3 or 4 games where they won in the last minute on something that was just like rip your hair out, numbingly painful.
Yeah, they probably should have beat the Cowboys the first time they played them, and then they played a depleted Cowboys team the second time around and got the win the second time. So I'll call that a wash because they probably should have won the first game. I don't really trust Dan Quinn. Cliff can get really gimmicky at times, especially if he gets nervous or if he gets in a situation where he feels like his back's against the wall. He can get very gimmicky. If Cliff goes out there and runs the offense and runs it how he wants to, I think we're going to be very good. I'm worried if I'm a Commanders fan about the McLaurin situation. I'm worried about Deebo possibly having to play a big role in this team. I think Deebo excels at being like the third option, which if
at this point in his career.
Yeah. So, I mean, they really need McLaurin to play well for him. And I don't know what it was last year with Robinson. I thought he was fantastic, and they kept just feeding Eckler. Eckler had a good year. He looked like he had some tread left on the tires. I don't expect that at all this year out of Eckler.
I think it came down to pass protection and route running. Like they asked the running back to do a lot. I think a lot of reads in the pass protection game, and like whether they're protecting, whether they're chipping, getting out in a route, like the running back was really active in their pass game in general, and that's Eckler's territory, and not really Robinson's.
I feel like everything has to go right for this team to have success this year. and I feel like just a little bit can go wrong and the wheels can fall off. Like I feel like they're kind of skating on very thin ice.
So that's okay. I'll be honest here. That's how I was feeling, and then I heard everybody else start saying it, and
I
now
haven't
I'm
heard anyone
nervous.
say that.
I've heard like 3 different podcasts today, people saying that, and like a few other people I know who do like Bears content and NFL content.
Everything I've heard is just they're going to compete for the NFC. They're going to go back out there and go back to NFC Championship game again. They're going to challenge the Eagles. It's a two-team race for that division. All I've heard is just how good this team's going to be.
Well, so here's where I'm going with this, though. I thought they were going to suck last year. And all these people who I'm hearing now saying that they're going to regress are the same people who I heard last year. And I was like, yeah, they're smart and they agree with me. Okay. So now I'm like nervous about it because like they were clearly wrong last year. I don't know if these people are hedging their bets or if they're like they were wrong last year. I was wrong last year, and I don't want to be
I thought they were going to be solid last year.
Overcompensating for that. You did. Kudos to you. But I think that there's a degree that kicks in for me now of like, am I just saying this because I was wrong last year and I don't want to be wrong on the grand scheme? Or do I really think they're going to pull back? I'm coming back to, I don't trust Marshawn Lattimore. I don't trust Deebo. I don't trust Laramie Tunsil to not commit penalties. I don't trust Von Miller to get sacks. I don't trust Javon Kinlaw to still be that good. Like,
don't trust Tyler Biotish to stay healthy.
Yeah, like there's a lot here that I don't trust. I do like the way they've built some of this. Like I think they've done a really nice job with their O-line the last few years as far as the way they've built it. I think getting like Josh Connerly in there is a steal at 29. He was my number 2 offensive tackle in the class. And you still have Wiley, who's solid. Coleman kicking inside the guard, I think, is ideal for him. Allegretti and Biotish weren't an issue last year. So, like, I do think they built a pretty solid O-line here. I just don't trust much of anything else on this roster outside of Jayden Daniels if he can continue to be the guy that he was last year. But then I think through that scheme, and I'm like, man, there was a lot of simple in there. And I don't know how that lasts.
Yeah, I feel like if Jayden Daniels is the one carrying you, can your defense play well enough to slow down some of the offenses you're going to have to face this year? I'm not sure that they can, especially looking at the DBs they have here. And so maybe Jayden Daniels can play a style where he can take over a game, but it's in 12-play drives. And they can wear out a defense and keep their defense off the field. But I feel, looking at this team, I feel like their best chance for success offensively is going to be making big plays, scoring quick. Like I just don't see a formula where they can slow down the game. If I'm a Commanders fan, I'm very, very cautiously optimistic. But I know they're banging their chest. Coming off the NFC Championship appearance. I mean, they beat the Lions in the playoffs, beat them pretty fucking good. So, I mean, who am I to tell them they're not going to go back out there and do it again? Dan Quinn had a lot of success in Atlanta all those years.
If there's one thing Dan Quinn can do, it's get his players to believe. You know, like these guys, I got to hand it to Dan Quinn. That defense last year lacked so much talent, but he had them playing with their hair on fire.
I mean, you hear about the guys that are still with the Cowboys that talked about when Dan Quinn left. You saw the guys that followed him to Washington, and I know teams don't, or players don't, look at division rivalries the same way as fans do, but still, what would we see? 6 players follow him? It's kind of unheard of. Yeah. And offensively and defensively, it wasn't just defensive guys going over there with him.
Yeah, but let's get into this offense. So we've got 2 blue chippers here in Jayden Daniels, who I mean, I don't love putting him as blue. I don't love putting any second-year players a blue chipper unless they just like won a Super Bowl.
People get Jayden Daniels the the next guy after the Burrow, Allen, Lamar, and Mahomes. So
I think that's a little rich for me, but like he's in the conversation. Like you have to be after the rookie year he had.
yeah, I mean top 29 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, 100%. If we go back and look through, it's like you can actually tell your order by that. Like Justin Herbert top 32, Jalen Hurts top 30.
It's all right there for you.
All right, other blue chipper got Terry McLaurin in there. Contract questions there. I mean, I have to believe that he'll suit up by week 1, but you never know.
I mean, I feel like they have to get it figured out because, I mean, I feel like his value would have been pre-draft if you're trying to get the most for him, if you're going to move on from him. So, but he is an older player. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it until we hit deep into the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this dude going to go out there and do in OTAs and mini camps and preseason football? I mean, he's probably just taking mental reps regardless. And I mean, he's a veteran. He's a pro. I mean, he's probably working on his game privately. So I wouldn't worry too much about it until we start getting in a week or two away from the season. But still a little worrisome.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this weapons room ultimately, and I'm just very, very okay with it. It's just Terry McLaurin's good, a really good receiver. But behind that, Deebo, you got questions. Noah Brown, like that's a below average wide receiver 3 in this
Cowboys
league, maybe
legend.
average, average at best wide receiver 3. And then Brian Robinson's a solid back, but he has some 3 down limitations as far as where you can play him there. So you're probably gonna see a lot of Austin Eckler again.
Michael Gallup used to be good.
Michael Gallup did used to be good. I like their Jalen Lane pick out of Virginia Tech. I think he's a good receiver.
They have McCaffrey.
Yeah, interested to see what Luke McCaffrey can do in year 2 here. But it's a very okay receiver room in my book. Like they have the one wide receiver 1, which is good. But outside of that, it's just very fine.
You went out and got Deebo like you think he's still Deebo. And if he is still Deebo, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't tend to trust players that come from organizations like the 49ers or the Steelers or well-run organizations whenever they're like, oh yeah, you can have him.
If he's still Deebo, that's incredible. If he's Tyshawn Samuel, that's not good.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you're really, really hoping to get the most juice out of everybody left here. Yeah, I mean, Zach Ertz, Larry Tunsil.
I think you need Ben Sinnott to step up.
Hey,
because
you know how many people I told last year keep an eye out for Ben Sinnott?
Dude, it wasn't just you. Like he blew up in the fantasy community as everyone was like Ben Sinnott, and I loved Ben Sinnott. I still love Ben Sinnott. If he can't carve out a role, I question the offense more than him because I loved the player profile. But yeah, so I really want to see Ben Sinnott step up into a role here and ease off Zach Ertz. I mean, he's 3rd string according to the R-Lads depth chart. We'll see where that goes. I'm really hoping. I loved his tape. I thought he had a lot of grit and a lot of athleticism coming out of Kansas State. The O-line, we've already touched on some. Tunsil's a good addition. I've never been the biggest Laramie Tunsil guy. The penalties are a lot. I feel like he's never quite lived up to the talent, but the talent is still the talent. He's still a very good left tackle. Brandon Coleman played left tackle for them last year as a rookie out of TCU. I think his best fit is at guard, and kicking him inside of left guard here, I think he's probably going to have a pretty nice season for them as long as he can stay healthy. There were some health questions coming out of TCU for him. Biotish has had some health issues in his career, but he's been a good player whenever he's on the field. He stayed on the field for them, I think, all of last year. So Sam Cosmi at right guard, he's going to be missing time. I believe he tore his ACL in a playoff game. He's going to miss some serious time here. Nick Allegretti is going to be your guy at right guard. Or I'm not sure if Andrew Wiley has ever played much guard, but maybe you could see him kick inside because you pick Josh Connerly at 29, 28. So you pick 29. I think Connerly is going to be a really good offensive tackle in this league. Maybe he never hits that Pro Bowl All-Pro level, but at the very least, I think he's going to be a quality starter. And he does have upside to hit that Pro Bowl All-Pro level. I think there's a lot to learn for him still. He's still somewhat new to the position, but I think his athleticism, his upside, his size, there's a lot to work with there. And Connerly could be your starting right tackle by the end of the year, I would think. Now, moving on to the defense, and this is where I still have a lot of questions. I made Bobby Wagner a blue chip player here just because I think he brings so much from the mental aspect of the game and the captain aspect, the getting everyone in line in place. I think that's really valuable for a middle linebacker. So I do still consider Bobby Wagner a blue chip. Frankie Luvu, I considered making a blue chip, but I think scheme matters a lot for Luvu. He is a maniac. He is an attacker. He can kill you when he's in the right role. But I think it is very role specific for Luvu. So that's why he's not a blue chipper here. On the defensive line, 3-4 years ago, this would have been filthy. Having Von Miller, Javon Kinlaw, Deron Payne, Dorrance Armstrong, Eddie Goldman, Dietrich Weiss. 3-4 years ago, that would have been a murderer's row. I'm not sure what it is today. Von Miller still showed some juice for the Bills last year, but I'm not sure how much he can play though. I'm not sure if he's on a pitch count at this point in his career. Javon Kinlaw, he can do some stuff as a pass rusher, but I'm not sure he's an every down guy. Deron Payne is still a strong defensive tackle in this league. I think that his numbers were a little down last year, but it's because he wasn't playing with a lot around him. Dorrance Armstrong, he's just a fine edge to me. Dietrich Weiss, I love the addition. Getting up there in age, but I love Dietrich Weiss on the Patriots. Probably one of my favorite defensive linemen to watch the last 4 years. Is just a powerhouse who is going to beat people up from a 4-eye 5-tech spot. Johnny Newton, this D-line needs Johnny Newton to step up this year. They need Johnny Newton to take a second-year leap here and become the player that he has the potential to become. Because I thought he had some of the best tape coming out of Illinois last year. He struggled some as a rookie. He was coming off of a Jones fracture, I believe, in both his feet. Missed all camp, missed the first few weeks of the year, then came in. I do think that matters for guys. So I'm really hoping to see a nice jump from Johnny Newton here. If he makes a nice jump, combined with Deron Payne and these Von Miller, Dietrich Weiss, Dorrance Armstrong can make an impact, I start to like this D-line. But you need Johnny Newton is the trigger man for this in my mind. He needs to take a nice step this year.
Yeah, I love Dorrance Armstrong as a rotation guy. We're going to need Von Miller for them to really kind of set the tone, and maybe some of these other Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw. If those three guys can play really good, I think Dorrance Armstrong can really excel here. But a lot of age here.
Yeah, and that's what I was just saying. I think Dorrance Armstrong is a solid player, but you have a lot of solid or old players here, and you need someone to become the guy. I think Payne is still good, but he's not that dude to me. They're missing the Jonathan Allen of 3 years ago. You need Johnny Newton to take that step for them because he's the guy here who has the potential to do that. You spent the draft capital on him, I believe, an early second-round pick. And he was lauded on a lot of draft boards as a first-round pick. I had him in the top 10 of his class because I believed in that dude's tape a ton. The injuries are what knocked him down.
Yeah.
So a lot of this defense to me hinges on Johnny Newton's development.
Yeah. Even some of their rotation guys are old. It's not even like they have youth coming in either. So
Eddie Goldman retired 5 years ago and then just came back 3 years ago of just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I've been out of the league for 2 years, but I'm coming back now.
Cleveland Farrell is probably year 7, 8 now.
Yeah, something like that.
He was drafted by Gruden, so
yeah, 2018, I want to say.
Yeah,
2019 maybe.
So yeah, just like Sam was saying about kind of going all in here, they kind of went all in but they did it in a way that it's like literally all in for like a year. Like
It's
there's
very
no way.
analytics driven. Like the Vikings have been doing this the last 2 years, where they're just taking a shotgun approach on older players. And
Yeah.
it worked for the Vikings, but like the Vikings also run a super sicko scheme that like can really hide some stuff and put guys in advantageous spots. I'm not sure Quinn does that to the same extent, but it worked
And
last year.
yeah, and they might have the best coach in the league too. But I mean, I don't mind that approach if you're bringing in young talent to kind of maybe hopefully build on the shotgun approach. But hell, whatever works, I guess. I mean, it worked for my. They were in the NFC Championship last year. I wasn't. So,
and then at corner, I mean, I have questions about what Marshawn Lattimore is at this point in his career. Like, I think that he looked a step slower last year. I think that he was a bit vulnerable. Jonathan Jones, I think, is a decent Band-Aid at the CB2 spot. I love Trey Amos, though. Out of Ole Miss, I think they got a very good football player in Trey Amos, a very sticky man corner who's going to fit what Dan Quinn wants to do. So, like, I do like that pick a lot, and I think Mike Sainristil is probably I would dare call him one of the better nickel corners in the league already. Like, he is a very good football player. So I like those two guys for them.
Good instincts.
At safety, I have questions too. Quan Martin, I mean, I think he was fine last year, but like I don't feel good about him. Will Harris, I don't really have any feelings towards. He's just kind of he's a safety.
Yeah,
he's a safety. That's how I feel about Will Harris. You know, it's like he doesn't stand out to me in any way.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how this this unit plays together. They got everybody in the NFC's got a tough schedule this year.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's AFC West, NFC North is what they got, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
Two of the better divisions in football. On top of, I think the division as a whole is going to be pretty solid from top to bottom, and you're playing a second place schedule as the Washington Commanders. So, yeah, cautiously optimistic if I'm a Commanders fan. You got a win total of 9.5, basically even money there. Playoffs minus 140, no at plus 114, division at plus 210, Super Bowl 18-1. I'm probably taking missing the playoffs here at plus 114. I like the under, but the juice is better, and they can go under at 9 wins and maybe sneak into the playoffs. So I'm taking miss the playoffs here. I think they're going to be the third team in the division. I think the rest of the NFC is just way too loaded. I don't think we're getting 3 teams out of the NFC East this year. You're playing Eagles are really fucking good. Cowboys were very injured last year, but I mean, you always lose to the Cowboys, and I mean, I know you don't want to. I mean, I know every season's different, and you can't be like, oh well, but I mean, those trends do happen. I mean, look at some of like the Bengals just always somehow lose to the Browns no matter what, like shit like that. Like it's sometimes that just happens. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough division.
Yeah, I'd
maybe
take them to miss the playoffs too. I might consider taking them to take the division as well, but like it's
2-1. Yeah. I just don't feel like the juice is good enough at 2-1 there. If we were looking at closer to 3-1, like plus 275, plus 310 in that range, I might sprinkle that, but. Yeah, I think missing the playoffs is the right bet here. I think this is a 7-10 team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am buying the regression here because I can't. I have a hard time seeing them win the division, and I think the money, the value is on missing the playoffs at plus 114.
I think they're gonna. Be in a lot of close games like they were last year. They went 12-5 last year. Probably 4 or 5 of those games easily could have gone the other direction.
Yeah.
So looking
At which
at
point, if half of those change, they're 10-7, which becomes a very tight situation.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, give me the under here, and it's on Jayden Daniels. And if they go out there, if Jayden Daniels goes out there and does what he did last year, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's gone, so year 3 will look interesting for sure. But if maybe they can keep Cliff one more year, if they do go 7-10, and maybe next year is the year of Jayden Daniels.
The year of the Jayden.